before the next disaster.
To become a disaster volunteer, you need more training, and most of it is online. And it used to be about 40 hours. I think they cut it back a little bit. And a lot of people want to deploy, you know, but if they want to do that, they need not only the online training, but they also need real-world experience here in Hawaii. I think they cut it back a little bit.
If you want to volunteer, you can sign up on the Red Cross website. We also have a link on our website, hawaiinewsnow.com.
You know what? Bless their hearts, every single one of them, the volunteers and the nonprofit leaders, not just the big things they're helping with, but all the little house fires, and every time a family is displaced, they're the ones who are there helping them out, getting them settled at that time of crisis.
And it's been back-to-back emergencies, so kudos and mahalo to them.
And storm season coming up.
That's right. We've got a storm actually in the East Pacific. We're tracking. We'll have more details on that tomorrow. Dan Cook will probably track it on Sunrise.
All right. Have a good night.
With the Hawaii News Now mobile app, breaking news is in the palm of your hand. Sponsored by Little Caesars Pizza with 5 locations on Oahu.
Pohoiki Road.
And this new video from Damian Barrios shows the latter part of that eruption. As the sun went down, the fountains of lava were replaced by these holes in the cooling rock, shooting out fire and gas.
Boy, that is intense. But tonight, another pause in the action. Authorities say the 2 new outbreaks that prompted evacuations today have gone quiet.
Photographers rushed to the scene when the ground burst open just before 3 this afternoon.
This is a new structure to open up, 13 and 14. Where am I landing? He's running, I'm running. The ground is pulsating. At first I thought it was my heartbeat.
But like all the others, those 2 new vents did not last long. The USGS says they stopped emitting lava after a few hours. There have now been 14 fissures since last Thursday. More than 104 acres are covered in lava. 36 structures have been destroyed. 27 of those were homes.
Also new tonight, Civil Defense says Highway 130 is closed between Malama Street and Kamaili Road. Pohoiki Road is closed from Highway 132 to Hinalo Street. No access is allowed at this time for residents of Lanipuna Gardens due to the dangerous volcanic gases.
Here's a map showing the location of all 14 fissures. Number 13 is about a half a mile from the Puna geothermal plant. And fissure number 14 is near Kaupili Street and Leilani Avenue.
We have extensive team coverage tonight on Kilauea's eruption. Let's start with our Ben Gutierrez. He's live in Pahoa tonight with reaction from the governor. Ben.
Yeah, thanks very much, Kiahi and Steph. First off, we want to tell you about something that developed later this evening. Tonight, some residents reported hearing some explosions in the Black Sands area. This happened at about 5:45 p.m. They also say there was an earthquake at about the same time. However, we talked to Hawaii County Civil Defense, which told us that there were no reported or no confirmed reports of any explosions in that area. So tonight, it still remains a mystery as to what the source of those explosions might have been, but no evacuations were necessary, no sirens were sounded. Meanwhile, spirits are remaining high here at the Pu'uhonua o Puna, the community hub, community-run information and supply hub at the corner of Highway 130 and the Pahoa-Kapoho Highway. More donations are coming in as more residents take advantage of the supplies and the meals that are being provided. They and Governor Ige, who visited earlier, say they are preparing for an eruptive phase that could last a while.
So it takes like a lot of stuff like this to happen for people to come together, you know, but we're blessed, you know. It's not like we're out in the rain, sleeping, you know, getting sick.
Heartbreaking to see the homes and families who have lost everything, you know, and especially the situation with the lava and the dangerous gases. You know, we just want to keep everyone safe and continue to look at what we can do to prepare.
Ige says he has asked the White House for federal assistance for those who have been affected by this phase of the eruption. Civil Defense, meantime, also says this evening that evacuated residents will still be allowed into Leilani Estates, at least the parts that are safe, between 7 a.m. and 6 p.m. on a daily basis until further notice, the weather and the eruption permitting. Reporting live from Pahoa, Ben Gutierrez, Hawaii News Now.
Thank you very much, Ben. Some residents had returned to their homes this afternoon when an alert was issued for people to immediately evacuate. Our Mileka Lincoln reports near Lanipuna Gardens.
My cameraman and I were actually inside Pu'uhonua o Puna. That's the information hub, donation drop-off, and supply distribution center that's been set up by the community for the community near the intersection of Highway 130 at Pahoa-Kapoho Road when that emergency alert was issued. And as you can imagine, it was an eerie feeling to hear that sound triggering on about 200 cell phones, and then everyone wondering why the immediate evacuation had been ordered for Lanipuna Gardens when we knew that all of the volcanic volcanic activity up to this point had been isolated to Leilani Estates. The first thing that everyone thought was because of elevated sulfur dioxide levels, and that of course has been a major threat for that neighborhood. That's why they have not been allowed to re-access or re-enter their homes ever since the mandatory evacuation went into place last week Thursday. But then we learned that it was due to the proximity to Fissure 13, right at Leilani Avenue and Kahukai, and concerned that it could potentially cross the road and take out one of the houses in that neighborhood. They were not, however, able to evacuate using Pohoiki Road heading Mauka right up to Highway 130. Because of cracks that had already been detected along that roadway. So instead, the evacuation notice ordered them to head Makai toward the ocean, going down to Isaac Hull. By officials that there were only 4 households in which individuals had still been in place, 6 of them who we are told evacuated without any incident. That's exactly what officials are hoping for as this event continues to unfold without any indication of when it might end. Reporting from just outside Lanipuna Gardens, Milaka Lincoln, Hawaii News Now.
All right, thank you, Milaka. Well, residents suspected something was brewing underground when some of the cracks in Leilani Estates started growing this morning. Mahealani Richardson was there.
The State Department of Defense confirms that everyone has been evacuated safely from Lanipuna Gardens. Meanwhile, we went into the evacuation zone in Leilani Estates, and there were some frightening moments for residents and our news crew. When we were shooting, we looked around and we saw what was a surreal sight to see the destruction and new land formed. The earth felt hot and you could see the gases rising. Now, at one point on Mohala Avenue, which was considered ground zero, we heard the asphalt cracking. Later, a resident that we were with says she saw the cracks widening by her house, and that's when the group made a mad dash out of the immediate area.
As we were packing, all of a sudden, when I went out, the cracks went from 2 inches to 12 inches wide and 8 feet deep, and you could hear the rumbling, and that was on either side of my house. And you guys were between my house and the flow, so it was a very close call.
Anytime a fissure opens up, I mean, the progression is that there's cracks, then steam will come out, then a lot of steam, and then if lava comes out, it initially usually comes out as spatter, and then depending on the activity, enough lava may come out to form a lava flow.
Susie Osborne is the head of Kua'okala Charter School, which is closed because of the possible threat. She and friends were quickly removing furniture from her house when it became too dangerous. Now she says she's not sure if she's ever going back. Meanwhile, Hawaii County Civil Defense says that these 2 new vents confirmed what they've been saying all along, that this is far from over. Reporting from Hilo, Mahealani Richardson, Hawaii News Now.
Thank you very much, Mahea. The growing level of sulfur dioxide is raising fears of acid rain.
Yeah, the trades are easing the threat for now, but we may see a change in the winds, Guy.
Yeah, that's right, we could. And also, we've got these incoming showers. When it mixes with the sulfur dioxide, it could produce acid rain, but either way, you know, it's a dangerous situation. Now, acid rain could either be wet or dry. We're talking rain, fog, snow, even dust particles, and none of it is good. It can cause a host of health problems, even damage the environment. Now, as far as the volcanic emissions, the forecast is for increasing amounts coming from those new eruptions, which means dangerous air quality for those communities downwind. The red is where the concentrations are the highest. But with the brisk trade winds, the plume overall will be pushed 2 hours south tomorrow. But starting on Thursday, light winds and sea breezes, well, they might push the dirty air up the island chain all the way through Friday, so the threat will grow. So no matter where you are, if you have breathing challenges, Thursday and Friday, take precautions. Coming up later, the extended forecast.
Okay, thanks, Guy. And you can count on us to bring you timely information and new video on the eruption, on air statewide and online worldwide. And don't forget our mobile